Okay, so what if I told you that one of the most powerful blueprints for success in our crazy, hyper-connected world wasn't written last year or even in the last decade, but way back in 1936? Let's dive in because this nearly 90-year-old book, well, it holds secrets that are more relevant now than ever. It's a totally fair question, right? I mean, we've got AI, instant global communication, the whole work landscape has been flipped on its head. So, why on earth are we looking back to the Great Depression for career advice? Well, it's because the one thing that has not changed one bit is human nature. And one man absolutely cracked the code on how we operate. And look, this is not just some dusty history lesson. This is happening right now. On the Financial Careers subreddit, a place for people in one of the most cutthroat, demanding fields out there, they are actively asking for this exact wisdom. They've read the original and they're hungry for more, trying to figure out how to apply these lessons on human relations to their actual business plans. It just proves these ideas are timeless. To really get the power of these ideas, you have to understand the man who came up with them. And he didn't come from some ivory tower or a wealthy family. Nope. He came from the dirt. Dale Carnegie's life was basically a masterclass in self-invention. He was born into poverty on a farm in Missouri, but discovered he had a real knack for public speaking and debate. By 1912, he's in New York City teaching communication skills at a YMCA, testing out all his ideas in the real world. This wasn't theory from a book. This was practice. And then, in 1936, right in the middle of the Great Depression, he poured everything he learned into the book that would make him a household name. And this quote from Joe Hart, who's the current CEO of Dale Carnegie's company, really gets to the why behind all of it. His tough childhood gave him this deep-seated desire to understand people, to figure out how to overcome obstacles, and to find out what truly, truly makes us all tick. And boy, did it resonate. The book was an absolute phenomenon. Think about it. In the middle of the Great Depression, when people were desperate for any kind of hope, any kind of edge, How to Win Friends and Influence People sold over 5 million copies in its first run. That's not just a bestseller, you guys. That's a cultural earthquake. So what was this earth-shattering secret? Well, it wasn't about manipulation or sneaky tricks. It was a fundamental blueprint for how to interact with other human beings. And it all starts with a simple but powerful shift in your own behavior. Carnegie boils it all down to 3 basic techniques. And notice where it all begins. Not with changing other people, but with changing you. Stop criticizing, stop condemning, stop complaining. Instead, you focus on genuine appreciation and on understanding what the other person truly wants. And that third point, that's the real game changer. It means you don't just tell your team what you need, you frame the task around their ambitions, their goals. All of a sudden, it's not your project, it's their big opportunity. That's how you arouse an eager want. And this quote just nails why that first principle is the bedrock of everything. Seriously, think about the last time somebody criticized you. Did you immediately go, you know what, you're so right? Of course not. You got defensive, you started explaining yourself. Carnegie knew that criticism is a wall, not a bridge. It just creates resentment, it hurts people's pride, and it gets you absolutely nowhere. Okay, so building on that foundation, here are 6 of his most famous and, frankly, most powerful actionable steps. And none of this is complicated. Smile. Remember someone's name, which is the sweetest sound in the world to that person. Be a good listener. But here's the key that ties it all together. Make the other person feel important, and you have to do it sincerely. It's not about fake flattery, it's about finding the genuine good in other people and just acknowledging it. So why? Why do these simple ideas, almost 100 years old, still work so darn well today? Because Carnegie wasn't just writing a self-help book. He was basically documenting the source code of human interaction. This, right here, is the absolute core of his entire philosophy. We love to think of ourselves as these super rational beings making logical decisions. But we're not. We are creatures of emotion. We're motivated by pride and vanity. If you only try to appeal to logic, you're completely missing the main thing that actually drives human behavior. And what is the most powerful emotion that drives us? It's this one, the craving to be appreciated. The deep, deep desire to feel important. Carnegie figured out that this is the deepest principle of human nature. And if you can satisfy that craving in other people, sincerely, you can move mountains. And if you need proof that this isn't some dusty old theory, just listen to this story. Podcast host Brett McKay had his 12-year-old son read the book. And his review?
He said this nearly 90-year-old book was the best one he's ever read. That's because these truths about human nature are totally universal. They hit home whether you're 12 or 82. In fact, you could say Carnegie's work pretty much laid the foundation for an entire genre of books. When that user on Reddit asked for similar books, people recommended modern classics like Cialdini's Influence, Covey's Seven Habits, and Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference. Every single one of them is built on those core Carnegie principles: understanding other people, using tactical empathy, and seeing things from their point of view. It's exactly why the book is so often called the social Bible. It really is a foundational text. It's not about learning a few party tricks. It's about understanding the fundamental operating system for all human relationships. Okay, so we've seen the history, we've broken down the core ideas, we know why it's so timeless. Now for the important part: how do we make this real? How do you actually use this stuff? Carnegie's genius was making his advice so immediate and so actionable. You don't need to go on some retreat or take a 6-week course to get started. You can apply one of his most powerful principles this second this is over. Just smile. It's that simple. It changes your own mood, and it immediately changes how other people see you. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Think about your very next conversation. Could be with a coworker, your partner, the barista at the coffee shop. I want you to see it as a little laboratory. What's the one principle from this explainer you're going to test out? Are you going to try to really see things from their point of view? Maybe use their name, or give just one piece of honest, sincere appreciation. The secret to modern success might just be waiting for you in that simple human interaction.